She thought, "I'll take what I get," and kept working. She papered the theater with sketches, charcoals, and watercolors, and worked late into the night. The more she drew him, the more he fascinated her, and frustrated her attempts to capture his essence in a single portrait. She began working on several canvases at once. She was intrigued by his transparent ruddiness, how his smile and frown both appeared built into the bone, the curious faceted structure of light over his face and hair, and the way this contributed to his extraordinary variety of expressions. She was mesmerized by his eyes, incredible eyes, with large violet irises half veiled by the jutting bone beneath his eyebrows, and liked the way he instinctively assumed the graceful positions of a college athlete. She told friends she was in love with his mind and captivated by the idea of such a gallant, intelligent, handsome man leading the country and the world. She also admitted falling a teeny little bit in love with him. She returned to New York with dozens of sketches and uncompleted portraits. Soon there were more. She realized that she had seen only one facet of him while his staff saw another, as did a public that saw him only on a two-dimensional television screen or in a photograph. She began sketching him when he appeared on television, and clipping his photographs from newspapers and magazines, tacking them to her walls, and using them as models for more drawings and oils. Soon she was painting only him. Walton visited her studio in early November 1963 to find photographs and sketches of Kennedy scattered across the floor and the walls covered with so many of her studies that she had to climb a ladder to reach them all. 38 oils between 2 and 11 feet high, and in various stages of completion leaned against walls and sat on easels. He was larger than life and smaller, youthful and athletic, mature and reserved, wearing a two-button suit or polo shirt, standing or sitting in the eye of a hurricane of vibrant colors. After running out of space, she had papered her living quarters with more sketches and photographs, so that whenever she cooked, ate, took a bath, used the toilet, or made love, she saw him. A photograph shows her surrounded by photographs, drawings, and oils, as if trapped in a maze of mirrors, reflecting and re-reflecting his image. It was testimony to the difficulty and vastness of the task she had assumed, capturing the essence of one of the most complicated and enigmatic men ever to occupy the White House. The playwright Robert Sherwood once spoke of Franklin D. Roosevelt's heavily forested interior. Kennedy's was, by comparison, the heart of the Amazon. His friend and groomsman Edmund Gullion spoke of a shrinking from ostentation or display, or for revealing himself or letting go with his emotions, that doesn't give the chronicler much to go on. Laura Bergquist of Look, who understood him better than any other female reporter, believed that no one knew the total of him, and called him the prismatic president because of the way he cultivated people to serve different needs and play different roles. When she asked, "What does it feel like to be president?" he had nervously rubbed his ankles, fingered his tie, jumped up from his rocking chair, and paced around the room before saying, "Let's go on to another question. I'm not very good at that couch talk." Ted Sorensen, who had been his principal aide and speechwriter for 10 years but seldom socialized with him, decided that different parts of his life, works, and thoughts were seen by many people, but no one saw it all, adding, "He sometimes obscured his motives and almost always shielded his emotions." After observing him during the 1960 campaign, the author Norman Mailer concluded that his most characteristic quality was the remote and private air of a man who has traversed some lonely terrain of experience, of loss and gain, of nearness to death, which leaves him isolated from the mass of others. The journalist Charlie Bartlett, who had introduced him to Jackie, said flatly, "No one ever knew John Kennedy, not all of him." Because he compartmentalized his friends and family, parts of him remained hidden even to those who thought they knew him best. His brother Bobby was his attorney general and de facto assistant president, but when he and the former cabinet member Abraham Ribicoff went sailing off Palm Beach after Dallas, Ribicoff was shocked to find that he knew things about Jack.